So obviously we'll go into the Altos reports just to show how much it's changed in a month. So last month it was gearing in Carlsbad more towards a buyer's market. And now it's swapped pretty quick. As you can see, last month it was in like the 65 mark. Now it's almost close to 80. So it's definitely going back to a stronger seller's market. As you can see, the median list price has gone up significantly. Price per square foot goes up. Pretty much everything goes up. Even average days on market went up, but they're still getting list price or higher. And the reason being inventory's down. So indirectly or directly, you can see that the inventory affects the market. And then I pulled out a few different areas that I wanted to look at. San Marcos, same things happening. Obviously, you see it was more towards a 60 last month. Now it's a little over 70, still a strong seller's market. Median list price is $1,079,000. Inventory, again, has gone down to 31. Price has increased 13%. Median days on market, 35 days. Average days on market, 70. And then I had San Diego as a whole, San Diego County. Last month, obviously, was at a 60. Now it's gearing more towards a 70 as well. Strong seller's market. Inventory is almost flatlined. Market actions up to 67. Average days on market has actually gone down, and median days on market has gone down to 28. Price increased 3%. Median list price $1,313,000. Then I know since we have more Riverside County agents, I wanted to pull up Marietta and Temecula. So Temecula, slower increase, but still increasing to a seller's market. It was about a 58 last month, and now it's at a 60. Median list price has gone pretty flatlined at 960. Let's see. Inventory is pretty much flatlined. Median rent has flatlined. Market actions up 60. Then you got Marietta, same story, almost the same exact numbers. Obviously, median list price though has, you can see the difference between Marietta and Temecula, 745 to 960. So it's the difference of the two areas. So yeah, going into this, obviously you see homes that are priced accordingly are moving still relatively quickly, and you are going back to multiple offers on properties. Kind of wanted to get a little bit before there's Josh. Wanted to get, hi Josh, welcome to the party. He's pink and not talking. Kind of wanted to get a feel for agents out there. Ones that are on this meeting that are writing offers. What are you seeing? No. Bueller.
They're all working on
the same thing everybody else has been saying.
Yeah.
Multiple offers. I just got a seller, multiple counter back. And yeah, it's just competitive. And then I don't know about you guys, but my buyers are just, they haven't wrapped their brain around it, even though I've been talking to them about it for the last 3-4 weeks. And they're still not quite ready, not quite there. And so trying to get them to come up or do whatever they need to do to get the deal. And I'm just getting I don't have people that are really strongly motivated. They're just kind of like, well, yeah, let's throw it at the wall. If it sticks, great. If it doesn't, okay, I'll wait it out. You know, the market's probably going to go down, or interest rates are coming down eventually anyway, and that kind of thing. So it's hard out there right now.
So Cherie or anybody else, for my most recent listing in Scripps Ranch, like we were on the market for 2 weeks. We did send out a multiple counter. We did, after 14 days, still got an offer 26,000 above list. So, but now we're going to the inspection. Obviously, the inspection showed, repairs and stuff. But what I'm seeing is that the buyers are willing to do whatever it takes to get the offer accepted from the beginning. but they still haven't wrapped their head around that it's still a seller's market, in a sense of sellers are still not bending over backwards to do repairs or do unreasonable repairs. On that end, my San Diego listing, the buyer purchased as is, but still requested like safety and health issues, and my seller did it every single request that they asked. So we are having a little bit of mix there. How do you think we can get the buyers to realize that it's essentially kind of like going back to 2021, in a sense of sellers are still pretty firm on, unreasonable repairs they're not going to do, and sticking to your offer terms that you initially put out? Or do you think buyers are going to cancel?
Well, if buyers cancel, I mean, their problem is, this whole May 10th thing, rates drop down where everyone's saying, hey, we're going to wait for the rates to drop. Instead of being competing against 5 offers now, you're going to be competing against 20 offers. And if you think that sellers aren't doing anything now, they're going to go right back to where it was in 21, 100%. Prices go up and they're not going to do any repairs, period. So they're going to miss a huge window if we don't get the thing going. These numbers are going to change huge. I'm super interested to see what's going to happen next on the next report.
Yeah, and I guess my question is, how do we relay this message and how do we get it into their head? Like, only ask for non-cosmetic items, right? Because I can tell you the one that's about to come, I haven't even got the repair request yet, but I know it's going to be long. And a lot of it is HOA related and cosmetic items. And they're still going to ask for it, even though I've told them multiple times, like, the HOA is responsible for the exterior of the unit, the roof, the termites, all of that. And it's going to come. I can already feel it. And then I'm going to have to go back to her and say, look, my seller's not doing literally any of that. So I guess what I'm asking is, on the buyer side, how do we get them educated enough to see what Rich is saying, in a sense of, this is what's coming. Obviously, these numbers indicate it just from month over month, from, April to May. Look at the inventory has gone down, and just everything's going up literally 1 month.
So George, is it wise to remind them that, hey, if you ask for these things and the seller says no, they just may go to the next offer? Because I almost had that on one of mine where the appraisal came in low. I knew what the next offer was, and they said, we're not dropping our sales price. We'll just go to the next people who also have money, and we'll do it.
Yeah, I think I would definitely educate on that, because I had the same thing happen to my clients, that the appraisal came in low, and we went back to, obviously, their why are you buying this house, right? You're having a kid in July. We got a crazy deal on the house. The appraiser, maybe they didn't do their due diligence because they didn't put in certain comps that we know it should have comped for, right? And then go back to, how long are you going to live in this house? Is it 3 years? Is it 2 years? Then yeah, maybe you'd be worried about an appraisal. If you're going to live there 10 years, what the price is now in a $10,000 appraisal gap is not going to be a big factor 10 years from now, based on the history of real estate in San Diego. It's just $10,000 is not huge. If it's 20, 30, 40, 100,000, yeah, maybe reconsider. But obviously, and then do your due diligence as an agent, try to negotiate with the seller. I mean, put it out there. If you don't put it out there, you'll never know, right? So if you ask for a reduction of price, worst case scenario, they tell you no. Best case scenario, they tell you yes. You're always opening the conversation of, okay, let's meet in the middle, or get them to come down $2,000, because $2,000 saving your client is $2,000, right? So anything helps. But if you don't put it on paper, if you don't get it to the seller, then you're never going to know. So I don't think writing it off completely from the beginning is the right choice. I think always do your due diligence as an agent to your buyers, and put a request in, because it's a request, right? but also educate them and say, hey, the seller could come back and tell us, no, I'm not doing anything, but you might as well try. Because I ended up getting them to come down, I think, 2K. And my clients were like, well, at least we saved 2K. So yeah, I think that's good for the appraisal side. I think, honestly, I think showing these reports after you're in contract to your buyers and letting them know the heat of the market and where it's going month over month, I think it's a good idea. Because I would just take a snippet, right, of this picture right here and show them, like, look at how much it moved over 1 month. And then, like, even in Carlsbad, right, it moved tremendously over 1 month. San Marcos, same thing. Let me put in, I don't know.
Does everybody here know where to find this reporting? Who doesn't? Just put a little
New guy.
one.
Okay, so Josh,
I used to have the Altos, but I can't find it. It was in my
Yeah. And it's okay if you guys don't, because trust me, I know we have a lot of technology and a lot of things. This one's really, really important.
I think I
Make
just
sure you
get
guys
it
know where to-
emailed. I just get an email with this in it.
I've used
Yeah,
it.
in the morning, I think. Yeah. So you all know where, and I know Josh, you're just getting onboarded with stuff, so get ready for a lot of things. But in Hey Siri, right? So the admin side of Hey Siri on the back end, as my phone goes off. Does everybody know where to find that? I hope the admin side with all the links.
Yep.
Does anybody not? Okay, so in Hey Siri, there's a section where it has the Altos password and login information. Yeah, you want to just,
Yep.
yeah,
I did see that. Okay, got it.
yeah,
So this is actually great for literally anything, but
anything, yeah.
I go here probably once a day.
So this is only on the back end. You know, if you're not with the brand, you can't see this stuff. So you have your login, you go in, and then
Right here.
right here where it says shared team logins, you'll see the Altos information. And that's where you guys can have that information.
Keeping current matters is also great to go into.
And what is
Yes.
the? I'll figure it out. More the
What's
link
that?
to actually get to the Altos.
No, you just
Just type in Altos.
it's Altos. Hold on, it's altos.re.
Okay.
That's a good point, Josh. I'm on with Liv today,
it.
so I'll have her add a link in there for you guys too. Yeah. Okay. Sorry,
Not
just
to
to
go
make
off-
sure, because
Well, not
yeah,
to go
I
off
just
topic,
want to
but,
make sure we go back to people knowing where this information is and visually seeing it.
And here's another good one: Zoom link passwords, office code, Wi-Fi,
Yeah,
all your good stuff.
all the good stuff.
All the good stuff.
And yeah, okay.
Is there any zips or cities that anybody else wants to see? I just pulled up kind of.
Hey, George, I have a question real quick on this because I was looking at, so, price increased 4%, price decreased 36%. Is this a percentage of listings that had
Correct.
price? It's kind of interesting, right? Is
Yeah,
that's
so-
the percentage of listings that had a price decrease? Is that what that's saying?
Yeah. But then obviously you saw they moved. So people decreased it and then the average days on more like they moved. So more the price decrease and then they obviously based off of market action went up. So you had more action in the market, which probably is why it turned more of a seller's market. Because once the price is decreased, then they got multiple offers.
I'm curious, I don't know if we're gonna talk about this anyways, if that's part of the plan, but like when the interest rates go down, how many sellers are gonna come out and say, all right, I'm willing to sell now? Because, they weren't willing before because they didn't want to lose their low interest rate. And now they'll be more willing.
Well,
And then we'll have more homes on the market.
yeah, I actually just had this conversation with Josh before we got onto this call. I don't think it's going to be a dramatic, like May 10th, you're going to see like 100 houses come on the market. I just don't see that happening. And it's going to be a gradual increase or a decrease of interest rates. It's not going to be one just like, going from 6.25 to 4%. It's just, that's not the
Right.
way it happens. And I'll let Josh speak to that after this. But I do have 2 sellers that are waiting not to put their house on the market this week. And they're putting it on the market the weekend of the 12th and 13th just to see what happens. Because obviously we have seen once the rates go into the 5s, buyers come out of the woodwork. It's just what's been happening. Josh, I'll let you speak more to that if you want to.
Can I add to that really quick? So there's this break-even point or this breaking point. Can everybody hear me okay, by the way?
Yeah.
Okay. There's this break-even point when a seller, when we're talking about flooding the market or getting a whole lot more inventory, in just my opinion, and I think this is something that's important to pass on to clients who think they're going to wait for more inventory. It's that if you have a 2.75, 2.25, 2.5, 3, 3.25, like so many people do after 2021 and even halfway through 2022, right? Are you going to sell your house and rates are at still 6% when you're going to double your mortgage payment and also increase your property taxes? Or are you going to do it at 5.5%? Are you going to do it 5%? Or is it going to be more like 4.5%? And when you start crunching monthly payments and what people are able to absorb just to go buy a new house, it's really more like the 4.5%. When you have people that say, yeah, okay, that's worth it, ditching my 3%, 2.75%, whatever interest rate to go buy a new house. That makes sense? So it's not a matter of, oh, hey, rates are going to go to 5.5%. All of a sudden we're having this flood of inventory. It's not going to happen. It's going to be, they got to get down into the mid 4s for people to really feel comfortable about selling their home and moving on somewhere else and taking out a new mortgage. We listened to Barry Habib from MBS Highways did a 6-minute show on this the other day. And that was the consistency they came up to. About 4.5% is when a normal buyer who doesn't have to move is going to feel comfortable with selling their house and seeing more inventory pop up. I don't know if that's true or not, but I think if you ever encounter somebody that says, hey, we're just going to, wait until whenever to sell, I just don't think that's realistic. I think that the realistic timing of inventory starting to jump up is when rates get back down to the mid 4s, which will continue to create a supply and demand issue, which continues to create a low inventory situation.
But couldn't that also then create an issue where they come out and say, okay, great, I can sell my home, get a decent rate, but now the home prices, because they just got more money for their home, they're going to be looking at the homes, the price value that they originally want. Now that price just jumps up because of the rates dropping down and all the other people coming out of the woodworks. Is that, you think, could that be a deciding factor too, of also being like, whoa, maybe we should still hold back,
I think someone said it earlier, they're really interested to see how this market is going to play out. I totally agree. I think that when rates start, we're already seeing home prices starting to jump up, and everybody seems to be, I'm talking to you guys every single day and agents from other offices every single day, following up on offers that are made every single day. And it seems like the vast majority, 90% of the offers are going up against multiple offers right now. And it seems like all the people that I talk to, if it's a house that's priced correctly, they're going over list price every single time. And that's with rates at, we're at 6.125% today on a conventional 30-year fixed rate loan when the loan amount is under 726.
Can everybody else hear him or no?
I can hear you though.
We
Okay.
lost him.
0.5% or 5%. It's going to bring a absolute flurry of buyers. It's going to create this crazy froth because then the media is going to be like, oh, rates are at 5% now, go buy a house. And then everybody starts pumping. So long story short, buy a house now.
All right, you ready to go into your spiel now?
Oh, yeah, for sure. Hey guys.
Sorry, yeah.
how's everyone doing? I think there might have been one or two people I haven't met on the Zoom. I'm Josh Chelsing, loan officer at PGS Home Loans. Sorry, I'm pink. Behind my green screen is a window, and it makes me pink. I don't know why, but that's what you got. Anyways, wanted to talk about a couple of quick things. This whole May 10th situation. It's funny, the originator of that date is Barry Habib, this guy that I've been listening to for years, literally since 2009. He owns a company called MBS Highway, and he former loan officer. And after the crash, he got into the former top producer, by the way. He was like top 5 in the country. And crash came, he ditched that entire model, took a risk, puts out a show every morning, an 8-minute show called MBS Highway. And I watch it every single morning religiously. He's become an economist. He surrounds himself with an absolutely incredible team, and they put out, a show every morning on facts and reality. They strip away all the emotion. But he's the one, through his analysis and his team of economists, that tend to think that this May 10th date is a turning point. George called me earlier. He's like, "Hey, I've got some sellers that want to, postpone listing their property until after May 10th because they think, rate's going to drop significantly." So that's not what Barry's predicting. He's not saying, "Hey, May 10th rates are dropping by a full point." Ain't going to happen. What he's saying is that May 10th, there is an inflation report that's coming out that could be the tipping point that takes us over the hump, and we really start to see inflation start to subside at a more rapid pace. Right? We have to get that inflation down. It's got to continue to come down. And then in addition to the inflation have to come down, the jobs report, if you guys watch the news at all, you'll hear about how the economists say, hey, the jobs have to cool down. There's too many job openings. There's too many people making money. They essentially are trying to slow down the economy, cause a recession to get rid of this inflation problem we have, right? So the idea is that May 10th, that'll be a turning point, hopefully a permanent turning point, where we start to see rates come down. And here's what you guys can use. In the mortgage industry, we have a saying that's been around for as long as I can remember. Interest rates go up like a rocket, and they float down with a parachute, right? Meaning that when rates take off, they take off, right? They're just going high super fast. When they come down, it's a 2 steps forward, 1 step back. It's gradual. We'll see rates improve by a 1/4 point, and they'll worsen by 1/8 of a point. And they'll improve by a 1/4 point, and they'll worsen by an 1/8 of a point. So it's this constant up and down, but gradually improving. So we're not going to see this mystery date on May 10th where rates were at 6% and now they're at 4.5%, 5%. It's just not how it's going to work. So if you have any clients that are clinging on to that number, or if you're telling your clients that, number one, don't tell your clients anything about May 10th, because we don't know what's going to happen. It could be that rates get worse on May 10th. If we have a report that comes out and that report misses, well, then May 10th could be a complete flop, right? So if you guys are pumping May 10th to your clients, I wouldn't suggest it, right? If it happens, great. If not, then we're still selling homes at the exact same rates we had. The other question was, should a buyer float into that day? Let's say they get their offer accepted. No, I'm advising any and all clients to lock that rate the day they get their offer accepted, because even if rates do come down a smidge after May 10th, they're still going to want to refinance that loan 6 months down the road, 12 months down the road, 18 months down the road. The worst thing that could happen is we tell them to float into May 10th and the rates get worse because the report's a miss. Does that make sense? Yeah, cool. And that's what I was talking about too with rates. What could happen? This is a report. This is an inflation report that's coming out, and we see all the time where we're hoping for a report to go one way and it comes back the other way. So this May 10th thing, I wouldn't put any stock into it. Business as usual. We'll see what happens when May 10th rolls around and go from there. Any questions on May 10th, guys?
My big thing is I'm just telling them, like, why would you want to wait for rates to drop? You wait for rates to drop. Now you're competing, instead of going against 5 multiple offers, you're going to be going against 20 multiple offers, because everyone's going to be coming out of the woodworks. Why not get it now? And then at the time, as a parachute, like you said, goes, find that right point where now the lender reaches out and says, hey, now is the time for you to refi. Then refi, you've already got your foot in the door. Build that up, and then you're going to sell the home later, sell the home then. You know what I mean? Like, that's my big thing, is why wait? Like,
to add to Rich's point, and that's a great point, the time to buy was in October. Anybody that didn't buy in October blew it, right? But we can use that to our advantage as an education standpoint or a sales standpoint. Look where you could have bought. Look how much credit you could have had. Look at the programs that are available. Now look where we are now. Rates are 0.5 point lower. And look at the frenzy that's going on. If you continue to wait and rates go lower, do we think competition is going to subside, or is competition going to worsen? It should be a call to action for anybody thinking about buying, to buy as quickly as possible. And if they have to go $40,000, $50,000 over ask to secure that offer, well, it might be over ask now, but 10 months from now, if home values jump up $100,000, then that $40,000 to $50,000 over ask was a pretty darn good call, right? How often did we see that in 2020, 2021, and 2022? Half of it. We saw it all the time. Great point, Rich. I do have there's something else that's popping up quite a bit now. Now that this whole recession talk is starting to become more predominant, and who knows if we're going to go into recession. Who knows? They've been saying recession for the last 18 months, but I wanted to share my screen because I want you guys to realize that when you're talking to clients, and if they bring up, oh, we're not going to buy right now because of recession, we think that, you know, the market is going to flop because of the recession coming up. Well, it's not the case. Historically speaking, can you guys see my screen? Real estate does really well in a recession. Why? Because in a recession, historically, interest rates come down, right? And if interest rates are coming down, it makes money cheaper, makes affordability better, and people start buying homes. Just look what happened in 2019, 20, 2021. It went nuts because rates dropped down so low. And that's what interest rates work based off of economic news and data. Like, you guys see all the Federal Reserve making these announcements, we're raising rates, they're lowering rates. And then I get 50 phone calls. Hey, am I locked in because the Fed says they're going to raise the rate? The Fed does not control mortgage interest rates. Their decision on raising or lowering rates will impact mortgage rates slightly, but it does not have a direct impact. It's all the economic data. So in a recession, there's bad economic data being reported every single week. And it's that bad data that drives interest rates down. Okay. So historically speaking, real estate and the mortgage industry does really well during recession. So if anybody tells you, oh, the market's going to fly, the market is going to tank with this next recession, it ain't happening. Any questions on recession stuff? Can you guys see me? Cool. Long-term interest rate predictions, rates are supposedly, supposed to go down, and the chance of people refinancing later on down the road is pretty darn good. Obviously, we got to get there. Nobody knows for certain. I don't guarantee rates to anybody. I just tell them, hey, the hope and the likelihood of you being able to refinance later on down the road is pretty good. And I give them the explanation of what should happen with rates as inflation comes down. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. Pre-approvals. I wanted to talk about pre-approvals really quick because this is so important right now. Use the competition issue as a reason to push your clients to go through the pre-approval process. We can close purchase loans in 15 days, 17 days, all types, FHA, VA, conventional, if we get them through underwriting first, right? And doing a pre-approval, detailed pre-approval, we can knock that out in 3 hours. If you guys need it, a rush on a pre-approval, let us know. But if we want to get a loan closed in 15 days, because that's what's going to take to get an offer accepted, I need to get them through underwriting first. We'll do the full pre-approval on our own, and then we submit it to underwriting, and it takes 2 or 3 extra days. Okay. So the sooner, if someone's serious about buying a house, push the fact that it's so competitive and why a pre-approval is so important, and getting through underwriting is so important, so you can submit an offer with a 15-day funding. Make sense? Cool. Complete pre-approvals, obviously, was looking at my notes before we came in today. Gives a little bit of time to get pre-approved. Oh, and the other thing is just getting to convince clients or to educate clients on buying homes, going through pre-approvals, whatever. Have a Rolodex of stories at your disposal. Tell clients about how, hey, they found this dream home, but because they didn't get to do the pre-approval process, they couldn't submit an offer, or they couldn't complete the cross-call, or whatever the case might be. Use those stories to convince people to get pre-approved. Any questions on pre-approvals at all?
No, I do want to go back to that a little bit though. With pre-approvals and you guys, so the 2 to 3 day extra, what he's talking about is almost like a, it may take longer if you have complicated files, clients that have variable income or very decreasing in income, or
self-employed clients with multiple corporations, LLCs.
Yeah, so just
rental properties.
And do yourself your own favor too, is don't go waste your time showing them houses if you don't even know what they qualify for. Do it for the first time, meet them, make the rapport, whatever, and then get them over to Josh, let him do his magic, and then wait until you get the full approval. Because if not, you may be out showing them $900,000 houses when they can only buy 325.
Yep. To add to that, I always talk about using us as a reason for, like a heat check to get people to figure out if they're for real or not. We have an app that you guys can add to your phone. I'm going to, if you guys are interested, I think it's what just happened? Okay, cool. If you guys are interested, you can take a picture, you can scan this QR code right now, and this will take you to our app that you can place on your phone. From your phone, you can send it to any one of your clients and say, hey, here's the app to PGS Home Loans. You can actually start your pre-approval process right now by clicking on his app and creating an account and starting the pre-approval. There's a mortgage calculator in there. There's some other things in there. So if you guys feel that that's a value and you feel like you can push your clients to going through the pre-approval process sooner, so you're not wasting your time, I think it's a great one. You can send it straight to them while you're standing there with them. Say, hey, here's the app. You can start the pre-approval process right now. So let me know if you need any more info on that. That's all I have.
Can I ask a question about that? What we were just talking about?
Yeah.
I'm just curious, I have a client right now that doesn't want to get pre-approved. He was just hesitant. And I'm curious what, I know that we all come across that from time to time. I know he really wants to buy and there's some things in the mix, but what has been y'all's experience as far as getting them over the hump if they don't seem to just respond to an initial conversation about it? Or why do you think they don't want to do it?
Is that a question for everybody, Andrew, or just me?
Yeah, well, I guess you're probably the best one to answer.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm curious what other people have to say too.
I think that people love looking at homes. Like my wife and I have a hobby of looking at homes. We look at homes all the time. We were just driving down our neighborhood the other day, literally Sunday, looking at homes, right? It's a lot of fun. And if they have a real estate agent that's willing just to drive them around with no responsibility and no requirement to show them homes, great. And it never ceases to amaze me how people are so willing to waste other people's time, and their money, because the cost of gas is so expensive. Being away from your family is, expensive. Your time is money. I would say that people have zero problems asking you to show them something with no intention of going through the process. So they'll pose as if they're buyers all the time to get what they want. But I think that's why pushing them towards the pre-approval process and finding out if they're for real is such an important point of the process. I could be wrong, but that's my take.
Yeah, I mean, I've had a lot of people over the last several months that I've sent your way after a conversation, and they've expressed interest, and I send them over to you, and then they actually stop talking to me. Yeah, and I'm like, what the heck? And they're not responding to you guys, and trying to piece that together. Like, what happened here? You know,
It's
Yeah.
because they realize he's pink.
Yeah.
So Andrew,
my hue.
how do you do your handoff to Josh?
No, hey, I'll say this. Andrew does a great job. He really does. Like, he gets a lot of people over to us, and he does a good job on his email. Now, I'm just seeing the email. I'm not sure what Andrew's saying before he sends the email, but he sends a solid email saying, hey, you know, very similar to your introduction, George.
Yep.
And they're just
So here's what I was going to give a little tidbit too. If the emails aren't working, do a warm transfer, put a 3-way call, because then once you get a 3-way call on there and you have you, Josh, or you and Taylor and the client, they're going to be more engaged. An email is very informal. It's easy for them not to do it and just disappear, where a phone call is one step further, right?
Yeah.
You get them on the phone, you get them talking, you get them excited, then they become a little bit more engaged. Just
that's a
so
good idea. Yeah.
I've seen it work with other agents on the team.
Yeah, I'll add to that. When you're thinking about that, just because we're on the phone all the time, the other thing to do is, like, let's say you know you're going to be hanging out with that client today, and you meet them at 2:00. Shoot us a text like 2:00. Say, hey, Josh, you know, I'm going to hang out with this client. I'm going to push them to give you a call. I would like to do a third-party call. Could you be available, you know, in this window of time, right? And then that way we'll know who to go to. Does that make sense? But if you guys are just out there and all of a sudden you're calling out of the blue and I'm on the phone, we're at who knows what's going on, right? If we're not expecting it at all, it's hard to ensure that we can be available for the call.
Oh, also, let me piggyback off that too. Let me rephrase. I didn't mean like right away. So even if you set up a phone call versus an email, like, hey, Thursday at 2:00, we're going to call you, as a 3-way call versus just letting Josh do it, because you've already built the rapport as an agent. Then when you say, okay, you have a meeting at 2:00 with Josh, let's call the client, then ping Josh in, because you've already built the rapport with the client, right? And I would probably suggest don't put it, 2 to 3 to 4 days out. Try like the next day, because it's already fresh. The longer you have them wait, the more likely they're either A, going to go to another agent, or B, they're just going to ghost you.
That makes sense. Yeah, I mean, I feel like, I don't know, people kind of they're just looking into buying a home, and then they clicked on some house there, and then they start talking to you about it, and you're like, well, you want to get pre-approved, and they're like, whoa, I feel like you're moving too fast with me, slow down. and then they're like, I don't know if I want to do this, but they really want to buy a house, and you've talked to them about that, and you've established their why, but then they're like, hey, I don't know, I've been hurt before, I don't want to want to slow down here. And I'm just trying to figure out the right thing, because people have like a fear of commitment or whatever. And
keep going back to their why. I was going to bring that up, and then you just said it. You said, that they give you their why. I mean, I know it's hard, but just keep going back to, like, hey, you told me you want to get into a home before school starts for your kids, or whatever it is,
Yeah.
But yeah, it's hard sometimes, I know.
Hey, and don't let anyone say that they don't want their credit pulled. We can do soft pulls all day long, right? We can do soft pulls all day long.
Can anyone read lips?
Oh, it's freezing up, huh?
Oh, did we freeze up?
Okay,
Can you hear me?
now we can.
Okay, cool. What just happened here? Stop share. Okay, so anyways, we've made flyers for everybody in the past with the why get pre-approved flyer, like this is one that, who would make this for? This is for George. Why get pre-approved? 8 different items, 8 different items on why they should get pre-approved. And then if they click on the video or the link, it'll take them to the video of why they should get pre-approved, right? So really knowing, I guess this to answer Andrew's question, having a really good answer for why they should get pre-approved at the ready is huge. Maybe you make an email signature out of why you should get pre-approved. Maybe you include the flyer, maybe you include a link to the video of why you get pre-approved, if that helps you guys. But having those answers at the ready, at the tip of your tongue is huge. And then the other thing I wanted to do was make sure that you guys have the contact information for myself and Taylor, so that if you do want to do a 3-way call, happy to help anytime. This is our contact information, cell phone number, email address. Group texts are great. Group texts are great because a lot of people don't look at emails. Like my wife never looks at her emails. I have to call her to get her to look at her emails. And I understand a lot of people operate that way, but everybody's got that phone in their hand, boy. Everyone's got that phone in their hand. So I would say text messages are fantastic. And if they're going to reply back, I mean, you could be with them. You could be with your clients, send the text to myself or Taylor or all of us, which is great, and say, hey, I just sent the text. Do you want to reply back? Tell them what a good day and time would be. Just stare at them. Don't say anything. and make them reply back, right? That's just a different tactic to try to get them to respond. If that helps, Andrew.
Yeah, good. That's good. Thank you. I appreciate it. Where was that? Was that on your website, what you just showed us?
Oh, just that document?
That like why get pre-approved, those different points.
Oh yeah. I can I can make you your own if you'd like. And
Okay.
I'll put your contact information down there instead of George's.
Okay.
And then I could have that too. If anybody else wants one, just shoot me an email and we'll work it up. And if you want me to add something to the flyer, you're like, hey, this got 8, good points, but add this one too, please. I can, add whatever verbiage you guys want on there and send it on over.
Okay. Yeah, that'd be awesome.
Okay. I'll make a note right now to get you one.
Andrew, one thing I say to people is I realize, a lot of times they say to me, it's very early in the process. We're just getting started, all of these things, right? But yet if they found the right home, if I tell them, well, what if this is it? What if the house we're standing in right now, you fell in love with this house, you have to have it. You wanted to write an offer. Are you prepared to do so? And they kind of just like their eyes kind of gloss over and I say, it's okay. Let me talk to you a little bit about what that means and what we need to do. And then I talk to them about it. And even if that wasn't the house, I let them know it can, if it's not this one, it could be the next one that we see. But it is surprising how many people are out there kind of just looking. And so I think we've got to get them down to their why. And then we've got to show them the benefits of following through now rather than later, because they don't know. Most of them don't know. They don't know the market. Maybe they think they do. So we just got to share all that information with them. But Josh, I think he's been seeing a lot of emails from me. Like I'm getting a lot of people that just don't want their credit score dinged over and over again. And Josh lets us know they're willing they can do a soft pull, right? So that can still educate them. Say, guys, it's so incredibly important that you know what your budget is. Otherwise, we're going to be looking at $1 million homes and maybe we need to be at 650. So the last thing I want to do is be showing you this gem that you're in love with and you find out that you can't afford it. So let's get educated and learn these things up front. So that way we're ready.
To add to Shree's comment, soft pull, you guys, no inquiry shows up on the credit report, no hits to the scores whatsoever. There's no reason not to do a soft pull at all.
Mm-hmm.
And
that's going to get them what they really, really need. That's the bottom line. Oh, and make sure you're talking to them about those mortgage calculators on Zillow and all that stuff. and that they understand that that's taking the absolute best case scenario. It's taking a buyer with the absolute best credit, super low debt to income ratio, and every buyer is different. So while you're looking at that and you're thinking, because what I'd say to people is, especially my Zillow clients, so I'm just curious, why are we looking at a $750,000 house today, guys? Why did you pick this price point? And they almost never know why, or they've looked at a mortgage calculator online, which is so incredibly inaccurate. And that's a really great way to get them going, oh my gosh, really? You mean, okay, dang, all right, yeah, let me talk to Josh, or let me talk to somebody else.
To add to that, the mortgage calculator on the PGS app, if you guys put it on your phone, that's a great one while you're staying in a house. Hey, it's $757,000. Josh sent out his rate sheet this weekend. You know, if we put that together, the property taxes are correct, homeowners insurance is correct. Here's a better breakdown of what that payment would be, because Cherie's 100% right. Those mortgage calculators online, they'll take like a Utah property tax rate, or they won't even add the property taxes in, and then you're way off.
I'm curious if they do have a hard credit pull. What does that really even affect how does that even affect their credit score? It's really minimal, isn't it?
So minimal, minimal. It's 0 to 5 points, and it says it right there on the credit bureau websites. 0 to 5 points, and any points that are deducted are put right back on within 60 days. The inquiry doesn't go away. The inquiry still shows up, but the points are put back within 60 days. Again, all of that is on the credit bureaus, but social media and general media has done such a job to scare the life out of people about credit pulls. Then it all stems from loan officers that didn't want people shopping around and trying to look for a better rate. So they tell their clients, don't pull your credit, it'll drop your scores. And they would tell people that so they wouldn't go out and shop around for a better loan. Dirty dogs.
Yeah, just like you guys are saying, I think just really asking, clarifying questions and, building that rapport and just making sure that, you're not playing ring around the rosy and showing people, 10, 20 houses and they're not approved yet. So, I mean, I think clarifying with customers is a pretty big thing when it comes, like we always say in sales, always be closing, so just make sure that you're always trying to find out more, because sometimes, like Josh was saying, they'll take you out to go see some houses and they don't really care about your time.
Well, and I just had it happen this last weekend, and they're in a lease until December. So of course we talked about that. I think everybody knows what we say when that happens, but they started feeling kind of bad. They're like, oh my gosh, we didn't realize, we're gonna waste your time. And we started way too early. And I'm like, oh, no. That you didn't, number one, you didn't waste my time because we met each other, right? And now I'm going to help you. I'm going to help you to know the steps to get you to that home ownership, hopefully before December, right? But if not, then. So it's just, I think they just need us to help them through the process, because most people, the reason they're just calling is because Zillow makes it so easy to just be like, oh, look, I can see this house, schedule appointment, And so how can we be upset with them when there's so many avenues for them to just easily schedule these appointments, and they don't really have a clue who we are or what we're doing. And some people think we work for Zillow, we're getting paid an hourly rate. I mean, you'd be surprised what people think. So we've got to educate them.
Something that I wanted to add, and it's mainly for the newer agents that came on, because I know I've said this before and I don't see her on, but when Cherie was talking earlier about, the importance of getting pre-approved and missing out and all that, and Rashia had a great story. And I think, Josh, it was when she was here, or she was on Zoom when you were in the office one of the times. She told a story about her first home. When she was looking for her first home, there was one that she went and looked at, and she goes, I was one of those clients that refused to get pre-approved and found a home that she absolutely loved and wasn't able to make an offer, or wasn't in a position to get a good solid offer in, and she lost out and she was devastated, all of that. And that's a story you can tell to your clients if you don't have your own, like, just to say, like, we don't want that to happen to you, so again, I know I've repeated her story before, but for some of you guys that are new, maybe you haven't heard that. Stories are solid. You know, it's great to have those kind of stories. Now it's crickets. Did I just talk and nobody heard me?
No, I think it's great. Stories, sellers, or even buyers, you know, sharing stories and actual experiences get them more emotionally attached and to the process.
Yeah.
Cool.
Any loan stuff? Anything I can help out with?
You got like 3 questions or 3 minutes. Anybody got any questions?
Hey, Josh, if somebody locks today and the rate does go down, do you have the opportunity, let's say it goes down a significant amount, do you have the ability to do a float down for them?
Absolutely. All of the lenders that we have float down possibilities except for one. And we do a lot of business with the one. Their name is Rocket Mortgage, if you guys have ever heard of them. They don't allow float downs. So if their loan is with Rocket, then no. But if it's with any other lender, then yes. Now, where we have a major advantage as a mortgage broker, let's say it's a 30-day lock, or let's say it's a 45-day lock. And we have multiple clients that are doing this right now. All we really need is about 17 days to close a loan. We can really do it in like 15 days if we had to push. So let's say you had a 30-day escrow and the market improves significantly. And when I say significantly, I'm talking like over a quarter point. We're not switching lenders if they could save $1,000, right? Like of loan costs. But if it improves significantly, quarter point, 3/8 of a point, half a point, we could always just flip them over to a different lender in the process. And we've done that tons of times. Everything transfers over, the appraisals transfer over. You know, we've collected all the documents from the previous approvals. So when we submit it to the new lender, we have a full complete package. All the title escrow stuff we've gathered up transfers over. So
Can't hear you, Josh.
Went quiet again.
Josh needs more loans so that he can pay his Wi-Fi bill.
I heard that last part, Chris. Did you guys hear any of that at all? I was like, one of the big benefits is we can switch lenders halfway through a process and take advantage of markets improving. And here's what a float down is, if you guys can still hear me. A float down is, let's say the rates improve a quarter point. Okay. The lender takes 1/8, the borrower takes 1/8. They don't get the full quarter point. Does that make sense? And then also there's a process to the float down. Most of our lenders, the loan has to be clear to close. So if they just started the process, you can't do a float down yet. You have to wait till it's clear to close, and you have to wait and hope that the market is still better by the time you're clear to close to get that process. So we can say, yeah, we do float downs all day long. Of course we do. But there's a process. Every single lender has their own process to how they operate and hand out those float downs.
Hey, Josh, a quick question. It's Mo. I have a question for you. Hey, what's up? I have a question for you as far as, let's say I refer a client to you and you get him pre-approved. How do we keep from other lenders opening the floodgates and giving them a call like every 24/7?
Yep, that's an awesome question. So if you guys notice, if you ever look at the emails I send your clients after I've talked to them, there's the third bullet point down is always, please click on the 2 do not call registration emails, a list. And even when they do that, it's not a guarantee, but they dramatically improve their chances of not getting called by other lenders. I do this for every single client, you guys. So that's number one. But number two, the unfortunate part is that, what are they called? TransUnion, Experian, and Equifax, the 3 major credit bureaus. That's how they make a lot of money. They sell trigger leads to other loan officers. And that's why you get clients, so you know, it's random. It's like 1 of every 30, 40 clients of mine, but they'll start getting 30 phone calls a day. They're like, I've had one client where he had to change his phone number because it was so bad. But they can absolutely improve their chances of not having that happen to them by signing up for the do not call registry forms. Again, we put it in every single needs list that we send out.
Cool. Thanks, Josh. We
Yeah.
are 2 minutes over, so we're gonna end this now.
Thank you, everybody.
Thanks, Josh.
Appreciate you all.
Thanks, guys. Thanks, George.
See you later.